last week's video I did a repair, or I made a part for a locomotive air horn. The lads sent a couple of video clips of the horn actually working, and I'll play them probably at the end of the video. I must warn you, it is quite loud. I warmed up the end of the boiler and I removed the end plate or the end cap, and it was actually filled with, looks like car body filler, so it's obviously corroded through. The rest of the boiler seems in good condition. This end here seems fine. The boiler barrel's good. So I think what I'll probably end up doing is clean this out and make a new end cap and solder it on. I don't have any brass, but I have got some copper tube. I'll be able to get a piece of copper and form some copper pipe to be a nice fit on there, and then we're going to solder it on. I'll need to measure the barrel and machine a former, turn a former the right size so I can flange the plate over. Just the same as I do in full size boiler work, except we'll be using a lot smaller material and a lot thinner material, and of course it will be copper instead of steel. Right, the boiler barrel is 2 inch. You'd expect an imperial size on an old English model. So we need something 2 inches in diameter with a little radius on, just to form that end cap. I've had a look in the off-cut box and I found a piece of 2 inch aluminium bar that'll do the job perfectly. I just need to face that off and put a little radius on there and clean those marks up where it's been clamped on a chuck, and that'll make a nice little former to make a new boiler end cap. This is why you always keep little bits of bar ends, you never know when you're going to need them. Just want to put a little radius on there just to break that edge. I've got a cutter here that should do the job. Some little blemishes on there, I'm just going to take them off with a file. Right, that should do very nicely. This is a piece of copper I've got. It's obviously a piece of copper tube, quite heavy wall, but it'll do the job. At the minute it's quite hard, and it's probably its full hard state because it is old. I need to soften it or anneal it, and the way you soften or anneal copper, you heat it up to a dullish cherry red, and then let it cool naturally. You can quench it in water. Some people quench it in mild sulfuric acid just to clean it. But once you do that, it becomes soft, like basically like putty. You can see at the minute I physically can't straighten that. So we'll anneal it, soften it, and I think you'll be amazed at the difference the process actually makes. quench it in water and it'll actually clean it. Right, all I've done is cool it off with some water. So now it has become like amazingly soft, like plasticine soft. There's no way I could do that before. So that now is in its fully soft state. So we can work it. As soon as it starts to become hard, you just soften it again. You can do it as many times as you like. As long as you don't get it too hot, you won't damage the copper. Just trim it down there and then we'll start to form it. Starting to form a flange on it. I put a protector on the jaw so I don't damage the copper. That simply goes on the former like that. And the face of the hammer is nice and clean because any marks on here you'll transfer to the copper. You simply gently start forming around. Yeah, I'm going to be greedy here, so a little bit at a time and then we'll re-soften it. Right, now I can see where I'm going. I'm going to trim some of these bits off across there, where you can see it's starting to now take the shape. Right, once again, we heat it up, steady red, and soften it or anneal it. Right, so we'll soften it up once more. So it's starting to right now it's flanging operation has been finished. We can put it back in the lathe chuck and I'll be able to part it off. It's sort of a friction draft to hold it in place. This should do the job quite nicely. It's just a part of an old nut I was making the other night. A little bit of weight on there and that'll drive that, no problem at all. A really sharp tool to cut that off because copper is horrible stuff to machine. I think it's candle wax or turpentines or stuff to use when you're machining copper. I'm sure Bob would tell us what I need to use. It's obviously better than nothing. Right, so now hopefully we should have one nicely formed flange. That looks good. See, the copper's a lot thicker than the original material, but it doesn't matter. It's just what I had to hand. Now's the time to see if we learnt anything from Bob last week. And Bob said the most important thing about soldering is cleanliness, and the second most important thing is cleanliness. So we're going to take all this old solder off here, right down to clean brass, and we're going to tin this. Same with the copper disc, we're going to clean that up, tin that, put them together, to fit nicely, and then a gentle amount of heat on there till we'll see a little ring of solder come out, and that should be the job done, hopefully. Right, I've got some flux, the same stuff that Bob used, but I'm not going to put my finger in there because my finger ends are all cut and it'll start to hurt. Brush some of this on. And inside the copper lid, copper end cap. Right, so I need a fire brick to rest this on. I think one of the hard bits is realising how actual little heat it takes to do this. You can see flux coming out. So that's starting to come down there now. The end cap's rolling on quite nicely. Not as neat as Bob had done it, but not too bad. I'm quite happy with it. Obviously it's a little steam boiler and it does need to be tested before I put steam into it. I've had a look on the internet, and from what I can gather, 20 psi is the working pressure of the boiler, so I'm going to go to 2, which would be 40, and put 50 psi hydraulic in it, and then once that's been done it'll be ready to try steaming it again. I've got it set up on my hydraulic test rig, so if I open the whistle, that's probably the highest point of the boiler, the water should come out of there once I start pumping it in. Once the water comes out of there, we know it's full of water, which it is there, then you'll turn that off. The pressure increases quite rapidly. We're running short of water here. Still air coming out of that. That's better. Right, it should increase rapidly as the water is not compressible. There's 30. There's no obvious signs of leakage. A little bit out of that valve there, but there's nothing coming out of the bit we've repaired. Right, there's 50. And the end cap is nice and dry. So I've got a leak on that valve and a little leak on that washer there. Right, the boiler's now sitting with a 50 psi hydraulic pressure in it. If I open this little valve which lets steam, in this case it'll be compressed water or water under pressure, into the lines, watch what happens to that cylinder. Right, it blows the cylinder off the port face. So even if the safety valve was to fail, those springs on there just allow the steam to escape harmlessly. There's a 50 psi, so I think I'll drain the boiler off and we'll put a fire in it now and try and get it to run. Right, I've lit the little methylated spirit burner, put that in there and wait for it to get steam pressure up. Right, we've got some steam pressure up. If I open the little steam valve, this doesn't want to run. It feels as though it's fighting against each other. Like there's steam on both sides of the pistons. So what I can do, there is a little screw on this crank here, so if I loosen that one off, that will disconnect that side of the engine. I've got it running on one cylinder. This one's disconnected and there's no steam getting into that. There's no steam getting into there. I don't know why there's no steam getting in. Only that pipe blocked. It's the one pipe there out of that valve. T-piece there. So I'll have to take that to bits and see if I can find out what's going on there. But it's in a lot better condition than it was when we started this morning. Right, that pipe there was full of lime scale. We've cleaned it out. And now it's running on 2 cylinders, but we've got hardly any steam pressure. But it is running quite merrily. It's been a long time since I've done that run like that, a long time. I think I'll refill the bottle of water and run it one more time, and then it'll be going to get put away and probably never run again until somebody else gets it. Right, it's running nicely there now. When I was a young lad, I always wanted a twin cylinder. I did have a single cylinder engine the same. So if we know I'm a little twat, I can have everything I want within reason. That's running quite nicely, that. Lovely. But it was certainly worth spending a little bit of time on repairing it. The boiler repair worked out quite well. Once some washouts here and there, the safety valves leaking slightly. That's lovely, that. Every chair should have one. These little brass valves learn you all about burning your finger ends. I don't think it will be allowed now. I spent a bit of time last week doing a weather vane. I didn't get any video of it. This one's got a traction engine on. I can do anything you want, shooting scenes, racing cars, anything you fancy really. If you're interested in one of these, all you've got to do is send an email. Once again, it's just time to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's starting to get near to 100,000 now, and it will be nice to get there. As usual, a massive thanks for all the well wishes. Take care. We'll see you next week. And hopefully, you bastards. Hopefully, you've got a bit of a steam leak. You don't have to blow in the pipe. God, man, when will it end? Yeah. When will it end? Bollocks, man. Hey, mate, Harry.